This is the Ryder and Lisa replay.
Brought to you by Southtown Hyundai. Check out the Southtown Hyundai Advantage at southtownhyundai.ca.
So for research purposes, I asked on my Instagram story last night, what is your age and what is your favorite podcast? I'd like to know what people want to hear more of on our show. I just think it's a smart play to bring that to the table for our listeners. And it turns out, Ryder, that we need to pivot. We need to now be the morning show that only talks about murder and sex. So I hope you're ready.
Not at the same time, right?
Well, questionable.
So a lot of perverted podcasts, or perverse, let's say.
Perverse podcasts, yeah. A lot of crime podcasts. Like, it's crazy. And it's all in our demographic, the exact age that we're aiming to please.
Yeah.
So we got Crime Beat, Last Podcast on the Left, Morning Cup of Murder, Criminal.
See, you like these podcasts too, right?
I don't listen to the podcast, but I get the hype. I really do. Canadian True Crime, Someone Knows Something, Your Own Backyard, The Disappearance of Kristen Smart.
See,
like,
there was
this is crazy.
The only time I've ever listened was there's a fairly famous murder that happened fairly close to where I live.
Yeah, it's about 5 houses down.
And I was just interested in knowing more. Like this one weekend, I got really into it. So I watched the old Dateline on it because like the American Dateline came in and did a full hour on this murder.
It's a very famous murder just because it was a mocking of a TV show that was really popular at the time. Dexter. And they call him the worst serial killer of all time because his goal was to become that and he only got away with one.
Right. And he didn't get away with it.
Sorry, he didn't even get away with it. Sorry.
He only committed one.
He only committed one, yeah.
So then I listened to, I think it was Last Podcast on the Left, which is a crime murder documentary.
They're good, right?
And it was really interesting, but I feel like I need that personal connection to it to be fully captivated, but I guess most people don't from the look of your post.
Anyway, a lot of people responded saying our podcast is one of their favorites, so that's good. So we should just continue doing what we're doing.
Just more murder.
More sex.
Thank you for checking out the show. So people forced to have smaller weddings this year, which ain't all that bad. So apparently, most people that were set to have a big wedding had to settle for something smaller. Have 3 contributing factors why they enjoyed the small wedding more than they think they would have a big one.
Okay, and this is just specifically the bride and groom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the people involved.
Cheaper.
Cheaper is the top answer, yes. The costs are way down because of a smaller wedding. Do you have guesses for the other 2 main reasons?
Yes.
Okay.
You can actually have good, meaningful conversations with everyone there.
Intimacy. Absolutely. I think that's what they mean by intimacy.
Wait a minute. And then the third one is... No, I don't know what the third one would be.
Only inviting people you like.
Oh, true.
So avoiding, having to invite that cousin who picks his nose until he bleeds all the time.
And then, they bring someone you don't know.
Yeah.
And you have to pretend you know them and remember their name for the rest of the night.
And then you're wasting time with them rather than, like Grandma. You said... going and chatting with grandma. Yeah. So anybody that has a small wedding coming up, you may feel a little stressed, but you may really enjoy it.
I've also noticed a lot of people are having weekday weddings, and apparently those are the new thing to do because, you're not wasting other people's weekends. It's cheaper to get married on a weeknight.
Plus, I guess, if you're paying for the bar and it's a weeknight, it would be a lot cheaper. Like, people would just have that glass of wine with dinner.
Yep.
And not be beer bonging the bottles out in the parking lot like on a Saturday night wedding.
And then the people that are actually coming to your wedding, they only have to pay maybe $80 for a babysitter because they'll be home by 9.
Good point.
Or 10 or whatever.
Right. I could come around on that idea.
You're going to love this story. An 11-year-old boy has gone viral. His name is Max Woozy. You might have heard of him because I think his Facebook page is quite popular. His parents were taking care of their neighbor who had terminal cancer. And just before he died, he gave 11-year-old Max a gift. It was a tent. And he said, "Promise me you're going to have an adventure in my tent." And the 11-year-old boy started fundraising money for the hospital by sleeping in this tent every night. And like his goal was to raise $100, right? Turns out it went so well that he ended up getting up to $700,000 after camping out for 500 nights.
Wow. That is a cool story.
So his dog would join him when it would start to get chilly. When Christmas season rolled around, he put Christmas lights up around it.
No way.
And yeah, he raised $700,000.
That's amazing.
I know.
Tell me something good.
My story is a local one. An Edmonton Facebook community called Northside Hub posted a story about a young man who was constantly outside dribbling his basketball. Someone on the page, one of his neighbors, asked if anyone had an old basketball hoop they'd be willing to part with. This quickly turned into a fundraiser that many got involved with, including Canadian Tire, who donated a brand new hoop and stand, and others who
so
raised
good.
$750 to that they then bought a gift certificate to Sport Check and donated it to him just, I think, over the weekend. A pretty special story and a very excited young basketball fan.
Well, just a great community of people.
Yeah.
This is where Facebook groups can shine through. It's not all negative energy.
And Edmonton can shine through. We have, over the past, just been a very fundraise forward city that steps up when community members need it, and it's nice to see that that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So you can catch me outside just dribbling a basketball, waiting for my $750.
No.
No? Okay.
Tell me something good.
To start this by saying the original plan was that all the hosts at the station would get detention, and then somehow after a meeting with Johnny Jasno and our boss, all of a sudden it's just me who's in detention all day raising funds for kids.
It's perfect.
Well,
you're the one that's most likely the type that would have detention. So it wouldn't make sense if a sweet, perfect little angel like myself was in the detention chair. People would be like, I'm not donating. This is fake.
We're looking to raise as many school supplies as possible, and then those will be distributed after talking with the city about like maybe what schools need them or what specific families, but we will make sure they get in the right hands.
Yeah, so we need your help. We're putting Ryder in detention this Friday starting at 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be in the back of our Play 107 van in an actual desk. Like we're putting it in the back of the van. Maybe, or it's going to be sitting like right outside of the van. We're not sure. But anyway, we need you to bring down as many donations as you can afford. Papers, binders, crayons, pencils, pens, calculators, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. There's lots of areas right around where we're going to be setting up shop, which is in Currents of Windermere Town Square.
Yeah.
So like I said, this Friday starting at 11 a.m., we said the shift will go till 6 p.m., but you are hoping that enough of our listeners show up with donations that we're going to get that van filled way before 6 p.m.
Well, let's see about that. I think it's going to be tough. It's a huge cargo van.
Well,
it will, I think I'm going to be there till 6.
Ryder's like, I'm going to donate actual computers so it fills up the van. I'm just kidding. But if you can't make it on Friday, if you're like, oh no, there's no way I'll make it to Windermere that day, you can actually send a cash donation by e-transferring money to an email that we've set up here at the station. school@play107.com, and the password is school. So we'll take those donations and we'll actually make the purchases from Currents of Windermere in that area to donate and put in the van.
And if you don't know how to spell school@play107.com, you should probably go back to school.
Anyone who donates is going to have a chance to win a table for 4 to go see Salt and Peppa on September 4th. So it could be worth it.
Yeah.
Or, it would be worth it alone to come down and see Ryder in detention.
107.
That picture of Zeller's restaurant was circulating online again, and I just shared it on Play 107's Facebook page and asked you, what else doesn't exist anymore that you always think about?
I know what my 9-year-old's answer would be.
What's that?
Justice in South Common, which was a store like specifically designed for young girls. And it had every kind of sparkle you could imagine.
Right.
Like bedding, clothes, hair stuff. It was a dream for her.
Right. Glittery backpacks.
Totally. And when it closed, she had a really rough time, for the next couple months, knowing that everything she had saved money for was always trips to Justice. And when that was eliminated, she was pretty upset.
Roy wrote in saying, my mom actually worked at the Zeller's restaurant as the cook.
What?
We had their peach juice and gravy at home growing up all the time.
No way.
That's amazing. I think the number one answer that's rolling in is definitely McDonald's pizza or their orange drink. You can't say orange pop because I don't know. It wasn't pop.
No, it was
like a drink.
Tang.
It was a Tang.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And Danica wrote in saying the Fruit Mojo candies. Danica, I think of the banana flavored Mojo candies every single week.
So we're talking products too.
And it could be anything, just something that you can't experience anymore. Alyssa said Red Robin is specifically their barbecue whiskey burger with the onion straws. Yes, I think of their onion ring tower all the time with the side of campfire mayo. Apparently, Red Robin is still a thing in BC, though.
It is, yeah. Well, that's where it started. I'm surprised it wasn't able to make a better go here because, like, everyone you talk to loved it.
It's so good. Scott wrote in saying Johnny Rockets. It was in the mall, and we always talk about Johnny Rockets from West Edmonton Mall because I used to go as a kid with my mom. We would share a chocolate milkshake. They had the little music machine where you would put the money in, and if you requested YMCA, the entire staff would have to get up on the tables and dance. And I just think back and I'm like, oh, I wish I wasn't so rude because you know that half of that staff were hungover and they're like, I have to dance again. I have to dance again. That's probably why they shut down. All the staff left. They all
couldn't
quit.
keep people employed.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I would love to see Bonanza back. Do you ever remember going to Bonanza as a kid?
I've never been to Bonanza.
It was great. Mainly because they had like the really good battered shrimp and you could eat as many as you wanted. And then the soft ice cream machine, you could just go absolutely ham on. And it was usually like after a hockey tournament, your parents didn't really care because there was other parents that they could chat with. And you could just go back to the soft ice cream machine 15 times if you wanted.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Sounds amazing. This first-time texter wrote in saying, wish I could go to those old Wizards Castle arcades in the mall. Oh, the good old days when you would go to an arcade. Okay, Ryder, this is going to blow your mind, the amount of people that are writing in to let you know that Justice is still a thing.
What?
It's still a thing.
Where?
Walmart sells Justice. We're getting like several texts from people being like, you need to take your daughter to Walmart.
Oh, that doesn't feel the same, though, as like going into a store. Like, it's good to know, though.
Maybe they have like a full-on glittery section. You just haven't looked.
Okay. Yeah, good to know. Now, if somebody can let me know where I can find a Bonanza.
Play 107.
So what is no longer that you genuinely miss? 780-784-7107.
Fuddruckers on the text line. A lot of those rolling in.
Anytime I go to Saskatoon.
What is Fuddruckers again? Is that a restaurant?
Well, Ruckers is the restaurant part. Fuddruckers was the gaming part. So like it was an arcade and restaurant.
Jake said the nightclubs in the 80s and 90s. Truckers, Chase, Cracker Jacks, The Bridge. They were all great nightclubs. I've never heard of any of those.
Sounds like a real bar star.
Yeah, I love that. Nice.
We've got Jolene on the phone who really misses when the Schwan man would pull up to the house.
I never got to experience that. Is that like a small town thing?
I feel sorry for you. You don't even know what the pure happiness of childhood is. It'd be this big truck with many little doors. There were some big ones. They would just randomly drive in your yard. They didn't phone. They didn't leave a flyer. You had no idea. So you'd get off the bus. You'd go in the house. Hear this truck, look out the window. Oh, it's the Tan Schwan's truck. It was blue for a while. So Mom always left a signed blank check for that special time that they would come. So you'd run outside. I want mint chocolate chip ice cream. I want the orange push pops. You would give them a big list. You actually have to help me carry it in the house. I give the check. I'm like 6, 7 years old. I don't know how to write this out. Can you do it? And you would just, you would just race in the house from after school every day just to Schwans.
Yeah.
That's part
I
of
love
the
how much your
Canadian.
mom trusted the Schwan man. Like they're going to fill out the proper amount of
Yeah.
money. You can allow this person in your house.
Yeah, I guess because they had, a phone number you could call. Like, don't let this little girl give you a blank check. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But that you have no idea. That's the greatest feeling when you see that truck and it was full of all kinds of stuff.
From pizza subs to the pudding pops were my favorite.
Jolene, where did you grow up?
By Andrew.
But just some guy named Andrew?
Actually, yes, it's named after Andrew Whitford because Whitford's down Highway 45 a little further.
Okay. that makes
Jolene
sense.
knows her stuff. Don't test her, Ryder.
I'm not. There was a rumor that my mom would get so excited about the Schwan man coming that she was having an affair with him. And so we'd
yeah.
always joke about that. And then it turned out he got fired because he was having an affair with another farm wife somewhere near Neilburg.
Better than the milkman.
Better than the milkman.
Oh, yeah.
The world is heavy right now, a lot going on. So if you are looking for a lighthearted chat around the water cooler at work today or in the shop,
Yeah, well, I do think that you might have to change the conversation. Because
Yeah.
the first thing that people are going to be talking about are all of the stories that are trending worldwide today.
the really sad ones, and there's definitely a place for heavy conversations around
Yeah.
what's going on, but there's also room for some other ones. So I just came across some of the strangest stats in the world, the strangest true stories that you're going to be mind blown by and could lead to a conversation. Okay?
Okay.
First off, the measurement of time, the second, is called that because it's the second division of the hour. So, like, there's an hour, then it goes into minutes, and then the second is the next fraction. Does that make sense?
Oh, I would walk away from you. If you started that conversation with me while I'm trying to make a coffee, I would pretend I have headphones in. And you'd be like, Lisa, there's nothing in your ears. And I'd be like, what?
Okay, let me try another one. Here, I'll give one that you probably will love.
Is it an animal fact?
Yes.
Yes.
A blue whale's fart bubble is large enough to hold a horse. That's awesome, right?
It's such a shame they can't see it. They can't turn their head.
The horse?
The whale.
Oh.
Now that's a conversation.
Okay, this one's really wild. Those yellow stripes on the highway, they're 10 feet long.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. And there's like 30 feet between them.
You're a liar.
No, I'm not. Next up, there are more trees on Earth than stars in the Milky Way.
That's also not true.
It is true. There's over 3 trillion stars, and there's like 200 million.
Who's counting the stars? Whose job is that?
I don't know whose job that is.
Exactly. Debunked. Next.
2 hours of video games burns as many calories as 1,000 sit-ups.
Why am I not more fit?
You haven't been gaming much lately. That might be it. Okay, I got one more here for you.
Okay,
Ready?
this is great. So again, Ryder's just breaking down some cool things that he has taken from the internet because they're good water cooler conversations
we
at
need
work.
some lighthearted
Something
chats.
different. Yeah.
There was a bear enlisted in the Polish army who made it all the way to corporal. He smoked, drank, and carried weapons to the front during battles. He was trained to do that. His name was Wojtek.
Isn't that a cartoon? What's the bear in the forest?
Smokey the bear?
Yogi.
Yogi? No, this is... Yogi wasn't in the war, and his name wasn't Wojtek. It was Yogi. Barbara Streisand is picking fights with queens.
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind that Barbara was a queen first.
Yeah.
She has 50 studio albums.
That's insane.
So her sitting down and being asked about Beyonce and Lady Gaga and kind of trash talking them, it's like, oof, not smart. But then you think, I think she can get away with it.
Well, yeah, you're picking with like 2 of the most faithful fan bases on the planet, though.
Yeah, they're up there. Beyonce's got her Bayhive and Lady Gaga has her Little Monsters.
So here's what Barbara Streisand had to say. The first was when asked about Beyonce's performance of The Way We Were at the Kennedy Center Honors, she said the televised version that everybody saw was actually her second take.
Ooh.
Well, she first sang it once, and I didn't think it was good enough, actually, for her. Again, I always think like a director. I want the best from my actors or singers, And so I know she did it over, and she did it beautifully the second time. I think she knew it.
Okay, so, I mean, she kind of saved herself with that. The next was when asked about A Star Is Born. She was in the original, and she wasn't thrilled with it.
At first, when I heard it was going to be done again, it was supposed to be Will Smith and Beyonce. And I thought, that's interesting. Really make it different again. I thought that was a great idea. So I was surprised when I saw how alike it was to the version that I did in 1976. And look, I can't argue with success, but I don't care so much about success as I do originality.
All right.
At least in that clip, she was giving love to Beyonce.
Right. So she may have saved herself from the beehive, but the little monsters are going to get her.
Play 107.
So Nickelback may be dealing with a lawsuit.
I love Nickelback. I'll say it. I said it.
I know. You say it all the time. We know. There's a band called Snowblind Revival that had a track called Rockstar, or has a track.
That obviously came out before Nickelback's Rockstar.
It did, yeah. It came out in 2001.
Right.
And then Nickelback had their song Rockstar in 2005. It feels really weird that 16 years later, though, you're dealing with a lawsuit.
I want to hear the sound of... I need to hear the difference or the similarities. Let's see.
So first, Snowblind Revival and their Rockstar.
Gonna be a rock star someday. Gonna have lots of friends like Robert Plant and Jamie. Gonna make my family proud. Gonna stand up tall, gonna sing loud. Gonna be a rock star someday.
Terrible song.
I don't know if it sounds like the Nickelback version. Okay, play it quickly so we still have it fresh in our minds.
I want a new tour bus full of old guitars. Mount Star on Hollywood Boulevard. Somewhere between Cher and James Dean is fine for me. So how you gonna do it? I'm gonna
See, like the fact that they're dropping other celebrities that you'd get to hang out with makes me think that the theme is very similar. You know what I mean?
Can you play the first one again? Now that we have the Nickelback.
Gonna make my family proud. Gonna stand up tall, gonna sing loud. Gonna be a rock star.
Okay.
Do you think Chad Kroeger heard their song?
And here's...
Y'all just wanna be big rock stars and live in hilltop houses driving 15 cars.
If I was the judge, I'd be like, you know what? I may consider this if you would have brought it to our attention 15 years ago.
There was on TikTok, I think I favored it. Somebody did a cover of a Nickelback song and they made the song so beautiful. Listen, ready? I'm going to hold it up to the mic. This will make you appreciate Nickelback's lyrics and how beautiful they can write songs, okay? I'm not trying to convert you to be a Nickelback fan, or maybe I am.
Not like you to say sorry. It's waiting on a different story. This time I'm mistaken for a hand in your heart worth breaking. And I've been wrong. I've been down to the bottom of every bottle. These 5 words in my head spin my way, having fun, yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was
Those are
good.
beautiful lyrics.
Really good.
Love Nickelback.
Crazy how quick you were able to find that. Do you just have like a Nickelback folder on your phone?
Maybe.
I was at a friend's backyard hang over the weekend, and we got chatting about like bad orders that people have made on first dates, and I didn't realize how noticeable it is. Like you don't know much about the person, so you put a lot of weight on what they order, I suppose, right?
You get more judgy than you want to be.
Yeah, like if somebody, a good friend for a long time, ordered something silly, you'd be like, oh, weird, but whatever. And you'd still have lots to talk about, so you'd ignore it and maybe forget it. But yeah, no. So we had one of the girls there was saying that she went on a date with a guy who was drinking triple monkey's lunches, and he had like 3 or 4 of them.
Which is what? It's like Kahlua, banana liqueur, and milk?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's all that's in a monkey's lunch. That's a lot of milk.
Well, that's a lot of like liquor that probably wouldn't sit real well either. Like liqueur, 9 ounces at lunch. What?
Just a quick 4 liter of 2% milk.
Yeah, and then another girl was talking about, she went on a date and the guy ordered the full-size nachos for himself, and it took up so much of the table because they were just at a little 2-person table that like she had to hold her drink because there wasn't room for it with the nachos. Like, you've been on a date before where you guys suggested appetizers.
Yeah, and I had to go to the washroom, so I was like, when the waitress comes back, like, just surprise me, I'll eat whatever. And it was like just 6 orders of wings.
Different flavors, at least?
I think it was Wing Wednesday, so it made sense.
Okay, yeah, that does make sense.
But still, I was like, where's the cheese bread?
In your first date, there was a tell that you probably should have paid attention to?
My husband, who we're now married, right? But when we started dating, we went to Olive Garden, and I should have known how cheap he was at the time because he ordered just a salad, and he just kept eating the salad for dinner, and he took home the pasta for his lunch the next day.
That's a solid move.
That is a MVP move.
Economically savvy. No wonder you married him.
Exactly what he was doing.
Oh, but it comes back to bite me in the ass now because I'm like, hey, how about we buy this or how about we do this? And he's like, no, we're not going to do that.
It's too
so
expensive.
I should have known.
Thank you for the call. We appreciate it. Johnny, you join us now.
Hey.
You're taking over after 10. You had your anniversary yesterday.
Yeah.
And I noticed when you told us what you picked up for lunch on the way home, you got some sandwiches and you chose to get a tuna salad sandwich.
How was that bad?
Your breath. You can't get tuna salad on your anniversary.
There was celery in it and stuff, right?
Yeah, well, celery can cancel out the
right.
bad breath.
Does it?
Right.
Like, hey, girl, you want to go get home and brush our teeth?
Ryder and Lisa.
Brought to you by Southtown Hyundai.
Play 107.